Look at this thing. It reminds me of my high school girlfriend. Believe it or not, we parted on friendly terms. Hello, David here, and the project for today is repairing this hand thing. I know it's a hand, but I don't know what it does. I suppose maybe it holds jewelry or something, but a friend of mine asked me to repair it. As Eric O would say, I didn't build it, I didn't buy it, and I didn't break it. So got some options here. I like to use epoxies. Can't use JB Weld because, for one thing, it takes about 15 hours to set, and there's no way I could clamp those fingers on there that long. And also, it sets in a dark gray color, and I would want something clear, just because of the cosmetic properties needed. So I'm going to use this Harbor Freight quick set epoxy. It sets in about 10 minutes and it's clear. And normally I don't have epoxy oozing out of the seams, but of course the stronger bond is from the most epoxy you could fit in the joint. Of course, anything that oozes out, you just trim with a razor blade, and it's pretty easy to trim off. Once it sets, I probably wouldn't trim it for 10 or 12 hours or so, because even though the surface sets in about 10 minutes, the interior part of the epoxy still isn't completely set, so you don't want to mess around with it. So one thing you need to know when you're epoxying ceramic pieces, or any pieces together for that matter, oh, that's not right. When you dry fit it, it fits together so well that you don't even see the parting line of the joint. However, once you get that epoxy on there, the epoxy's like a thick, it's like a gel, and that gets inside the crystalline structure of the so-called puzzle piece, and it's very difficult to get in its exact proper place. And if you don't get an exact proper place, you will see a parting line there. So that's why I drew this line with a marker to help me line it up. Got another line right there for this piece, which goes like that. So one thing you got to be aware of when you're putting this together, these two pieces are adjacent and touching one another. Watch this. I can't pull this middle finger, doesn't come out while this piece is in place. That means you cannot set this piece in first. This piece has to be set in first because it is actually trapped by the other finger. I'm going to mix up equal parts of epoxy. I'm going to hold it tight with my hands for about 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. If I check this pool of epoxy here, it's still sticky. I'm going to wait another 10 minutes before I put on the other finger. It's been about a half hour. I want to check and see if any of the epoxy oozed into the area for the last finger, the index finger, and there is a little bit. right there, and it's probably blurry. Get something to focus. I'm going to hold this down for another 10 minutes. It's been about a half hour. Epoxy is set up. Tomorrow I'm going to get a knife or a razor blade and trim the excess. Okay, it's the next day. I'm going to clean off any excess epoxy. Just got to remember that this is never as strong as it once was. It never will be. And here it is, all cleaned up. You can't see the seam where the crack was, but at least it's back together again. I want to thank you guys and gals for watching. Glad that these fingers are fixed. Now don't you give me the finger. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more great videos from David GPO.